Good Tuesday morning. So today we're on Psalm 32, and this one is called The Joy of Forgiveness. So it starts with, how joyful is the one whose transgression is forgiven, whose sin is covered. How joyful is a person whom the Lord does not charge with iniquity, and in whose spirit is no deceit. When I kept silent, my bones became brittle from my groaning all day long. For day and night your hand was heavy on me. My strength was drained as in the summer's heat. Then I acknowledged my sin to you and did not conceal my iniquity. I said, I will confess my transgressions to the Lord, and you forgave the guilt of my sin. Therefore, let everyone who is faithful pray to you immediately. When great floodwaters come, they will not reach him. You are my hiding place. You protect me from trouble. You surround me with joyful shouts of deliverance. I will instruct you and show you the way to go. With my eye on you, I will give counsel. Do not be like a horse or mule without understanding, that must be controlled with bit and bridle, or else it will not come near you. Many pains come to the wicked, but the one who trusts in the Lord will have faithful love surrounding him. Be glad in the Lord and rejoice, you righteous ones. Shout for joy, all you upright in heart. So now, there's kind of like two main ideas kind of happening in the life of a Christian. So you have you as a Christian, and there's a lot of choices that you have to make. And that's the biggest thing, is that like as a Christian, there's a reality that you have to make a choice. And the other part is that God knows what's burdening you. He already knows what you need. But at the same time, you have to make the choice to ask him for help. But the thing is that there are times where it's hard to make that choice. And so what you can literally do is ask God to help you to make a choice you know you need to make. So now this is kind of like a form of intercessory prayer. So like if we go over here, it says, let's see. Then I acknowledged my sin to you and did not conceal my iniquity. I said, I will confess my transgressions to the Lord, and you forgave the guilt of my sin. So like for a lot of us, when we mess up, there's a really big thing of, I have to isolate myself from God. And so this is why prayer life is important, because prayer life is kind of like your barometer for what's happening. If your prayer life is going strong, then you really know that you're honed in and you're able to really listen to what the Lord is saying. But if you're struggling with that prayer life and it feels like you're not worthy to pray these things, then that's a big indicator of there's a break between you and God. And now the thing is that God's love, once again, is not based upon your performance. And so when you're holding on to this guilt and shame and you're refusing to ask for help in all of these scenarios, it's just a sign of you wanting to hold on to what's not right. And it's a really weird dynamic where sometimes it feels like it's almost like you just don't understand what I've done. But at the same time, God knows you more than you know yourself. He knows the human heart more than any person could really know the human heart. And so God already knows all the burdens in your heart, but God can't just come into your life and completely just do everything for you, because that's like someone forcing themselves upon another person. That's not right. That's why you need to make the choice to ask for help. So it's kind of like God is ready to always step in and help, but he can't force himself on you. And that's why you need to make the choice to pray to God for help. That way, the help that he's already willing to give, he can now officially give this help. And so like a big example of God not forcing himself onto people is if we look at Mary in the book of Luke. So Mary is the mother of Jesus. And so it's not like God just impregnated a woman and said, all right, you're pregnant, you're going to birth the savior of the world. But actually what actually does happen, if you do go to the book of Luke, is the angel Gabriel shows up to Mary and he says a lot of cool things about her. And he says that he tells her that she's going to be the mother of the soon-to-be Savior, the King of David, or a king in the line of David and everything. But Mary has to say, let it be done according to your word. And then after she says, yeah, that sounds good, go for it, then that's when the angel departs and leaves. So if Mary said, no, I don't want that, then it would not be right for her to just be impregnated with Jesus. So she still needed to give permission of all these things you've spoken. I come into agreement with it, and I'm okay with all these things happening. And then that's when you see that she becomes the mother of Jesus officially. So when we go to here, when we need help, you have to really just not focus on the emotions of guilt or shame, because those emotions are not really what's important. The kingdom of heaven is a kingdom of action. And so if we go over here, it says, then I acknowledge my sin to you. So it's the act of I'm saying this and making a choice. That's kind of what's honored at the end of the day. So like on the past Psalms, we talked a lot about, it's all about the heart, but the heart has to line up with the action you're doing, if that makes sense. So like, even though you can feel guilt and shame, but deep down, there's a deep desire of, I know this is wrong and I know I need the help. I know I need your help, God. And so out of that kind of heart is where you speak forth and make a choice of, God, help me to make this choice that I know is right. And he will in turn actually help you make that choice. So yesterday was all about making sure that you keep track of your prayers so they affect what they're doing. And so today is kind of more focused on how prayer is important to you as a barometer to make sure that you're always in close relationship with God at all times. And that if your prayer life is lacking, then that's usually a sign of you're isolating yourself from God. And once again, it's not like he's standing on the side saying, well, I can't, look at what you're doing and all the wrong things you're doing. No, God is always in a position of, he wants to give mercy and goodness. And he's just waiting for you to say, Lord, help me make these good choices. And then he will help you make those good choices. So it's kind of a twofold thing. You got to work together with God. It's just kind of what it comes down to. And so with that said, that's it for Tuesday, and I will see you guys tomorrow.